Hey friend, I decided to embark on a journey to reinvent and transform my life in 2022. And I want to take you along for the ride. So stay tuned because for the next 10 weeks, I'm going to be sharing with you this amazing journey as I go through the Unleash Her Power Within program powered by Tony Robbins. Hello, welcome back to week 6 of the Unleash Her Power Within journey. This week is the last week of the reinvention phase. If you have not listened to the previous episodes on Unleash Her Power Within, I really recommend that you start from the very first one. The Unleash Her Power Within is a 10-week program powered by Tony Robbins that has 4 distinct phases: awakening, reinvention, transformation, and momentum. Week 1, 2, and 3 was awakening. Week 4, 5, and 6, which is this week, is reinvention. And we're moving into transformation. So, just to sum up a little bit what this reinvention phase is all about, because this was really eye opening to me. When I went into this phase, I was super excited. This is why I signed up for this program, because I made the decision that 2022 was going to be a year of reinvention for me. And I was really looking forward for this phase. And then KK, our guide in the program, she mentioned that reinvention is not about coming up with something new. It's not about inventing something new from scratch. It's about remembering who we are in our essence. And to be completely honest, and I shared this, I think, in week 4, I was disappointed, but excited at the same time. You know how when you hold two kind of opposite emotions at the same time and you are just confused? That's how I felt the very first day, or the very first day of this reinvention phase. I was confused. I was disappointed because I thought, okay, this is the phase where I get to create a new version of me and scrap the old version of me. But I was excited to know, and I realized through the exercises that we did in week 4 and 5 that that new version of me, it's already inside of me. And that is so encouraging, and that is so inspiring, and so motivating, and so empowering. And that's what I want to hold. That's what I want to really focus on. So, week 4, 5, and 6 has been about reinvention, and it's been an amazing journey. I have learned so much about myself since week 1, but in this section of the program, I came to realize that there are things inside of me that I just need to bring up to the surface. There are parts of me that are already there, but maybe I'm underutilizing. And I like that way of looking at reinvention. So this week, week 6, every week we start with a quote. So I'm going to start by sharing this week's quote. It's from KK, and it says, "What's the first action you take if you believe in yourself deeply? Get closer to that action and you'll be amazed at what you can create in your life." Let me read it one more time. Starts with a question. What's the first action you take if you believe in yourself deeply? Then get closer to that action and you'll be amazed with what you can create in your life. And this week, week 6, um, we're officially past the halfway point of the program. This is a 10-week program, so we're past that halfway. And we've learned so much since the very first day of the program. We started with focusing on clarity and discovering that clarity is power. And this week, week 6 was a very tactical week. So we spent a lot of time in the previous 5 weeks working on our mindset and our identity and really unbundling a lot of things. And it was deep work in a lot of weeks. And this week, contrast to all the past weeks, was very tactical, very hands on type of session. And we started by grabbing a highlighter and going through weeks 1 to 5 and reviewing all our materials and highlighting anything that spoke to us, anything that stood up for us in whatever was in our workbooks, whether it was notes that we take based on the lesson of that day or our own work in our workbook, especially our own work on the workbook. I think that was the key. I personally believe. But anyways, we went through the entire workbook so far and we highlighted the things that stood up for us, anything that was compelling to us. And then basically what we were trying to accomplish this week was to streamline all the pieces of all the building blocks that we have built so far and create even more clarity, get really, really clear on how we can integrate all the pieces so far. So every week we've talked about a different topic and we've go through different tools and different exercises. And week 6 is the week that we put all together, all in one place, and kind of we've been fabricating the pieces of this puzzle. And this week was like building the actual puzzle and putting the puzzle together. So it was a great for me opportunity to do kind of like a midpoint reflection, right? And really reflect on all the things that I've learned so far in terms of concepts, but most importantly, all the things that I've learned about myself. And then we had this massive worksheet. It was actually like a 2-page type of worksheet. It was huge. And I think we all felt a little bit intimidated when we saw it because it was a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by 5 kind of table. And I think we all were intimidated by this table. We were like, okay, what are we doing here? And when KK showed us her worksheet and it was fully filled, I think we all felt even more intimidated. But as we went through, I think things were really flowing, at least for me, they were really flowing. And for me, this week, the most important aha moment, the most important takeaway was realizing how all these pieces are coming together and how the things that we've been practicing every week and the activities that we've been doing every week, they build from each other. And it was also an opportunity to make some tweaks in all the things that I have developed so far for myself, where I felt maybe there were some inconsistencies in what I was saying on one hand versus the other. So, in this table, what we did is, first of all, we went back to what were the 3 to 5 areas in our lives that we're focusing on. On week 1, we did this life wheel exercise and we identify our top 3. And we had the opportunity to have 2 tentative additional areas on this wheel. There were 10 areas in the wheel. We picked 3 that we wanted to focus on. For me personally, I think I shared this before, but the 3 areas that I picked was relationships, career and job, and contribution or impact legacy. That's how I titled those categories for myself. And what we did is we put those categories. Before even that, at the very top of the page, we put the name of our new self. So, in the previous weeks, we've been working on creating this identity, this new identity, which is one that it's already inside of us, as I said, but we name our identity. And this week, we got to understand why it's so important to name our identity because It's like when you get a puppy, right? One of the first things you do when you get a puppy, I don't have one, but my sister has one. I know a lot of friends who have puppies. I'm not a puppy person. Please don't judge me for that. I know my kids have been asking for a puppy for so long. And I feel having a puppy is like having another kid is a huge responsibility. And I'm not ready for that responsibility right now in this point of my life. But back to the topic. When you have a new puppy, one of the first things that you do is that you name your puppy. So then you can call your puppy whenever you want your puppy to come, right? And the same is with your identity. When you are in the middle of the dance or in a situation when you're in that decision line that we've talked about in previous weeks, you get the opportunity to call your new identity and tell yourself, what would my new identity do in this situation, and show up as that new identity. So for me personally, I call my identity destiny. So when I'm in that dance, in that decision line, and I am debating in what direction to go, I'm going to call destiny because she is better equipped to make those decisions. She is better equipped to make decisions that are going to expand into a better version of myself versus contract into my old self. So that's why it's so important to name your new identity. And then we identify what are the outcomes that we desire for each of these areas that we're focusing on. And here we were trying to get to that high level desire or goal that we had for those areas in our lives. This is something that we did even in week 1 of the program. So going back to week 1, and this was a great opportunity again to realign and to rethink those outcomes and say, is this really what I want? And think of them as outcomes, as the desire above all the individual achievements, right? A lot of times we set all these little milestones or these little achievements that we want to make in this area of our life, but what we were looking for, it was this high level desire above all those individual achievements. That's what we were looking for. And the question we were trying to answer is, what do I want most for each of these areas in our lives? Then we move down to identity. And identity in this case was just descriptor words, words that, um, what you will do anything in your power to stay consistent to your identity. As human beings, we're constantly in this fight to align with that identity. That's why a lot of times it's so hard to change our behaviors, because unless we modify or we grow in our identity, right, we're constantly being pulled by trying to be in alignment with who we are. And if who we are is not the type of person that will do those things, that's when we're struggle. So here in the identity, the question we were trying to answer for ourselves is, what type of person will achieve this outcome? Someone that is what? Maybe confident, passionate, great communicator, um, someone that puts her family first, someone. I share with you all my description that I came up on what is the type of person that I am. Some of the things I already am, I already practicing, and some things are things again that are inside of me, but I haven't practiced enough. And our identity is like our muscle, right? We need to exercise those muscles in order to develop the muscle. So here, we're doing this exercise being that new version of ourselves. I did this exercise not as Carolina, but as Destiny. And as Destiny, the question I was trying to answer for myself is, what type of person do I need to be to achieve this outcome? And we did this for all 3 areas, all 3 to 5 focus areas in our lives. Then we develop a map. MAP stands for Massive Action Plan. And these are the actions your action plan that you're going to do that is going to guide you from point A to your destination. It's a menu, and this is very important, a menu of the ways that you can achieve your outcome. And why a menu? Because we are trying to stay away from things like always, only, or never. Because when we use those words, when we refer to what we need to do or the person we must be, we make it black and white. And then we're setting ourselves for disappointment. So, one of the agreements we had in this program, and it was reinforced last week, is we don't use always, only, or never from this point forward. So, it's a menu of all the ways that you can achieve your outcome. There has to be in this action plan, in this map, right? Imagine like a GPS, right? Or an actual map. When you're trying to get somewhere, you look at your map to tell you what is the route that you need to take. And those are the actions that we're going to take. And if we want to get to that destination that we are hoping to get to, we need to take extra large crossable actions. They can be 2 millimeter type of actions, but they have to be crossable and they have to have this ripple effect. They have to be extra large actions again. So, what are all the potential ways that you can accomplish your outcome? That is the question that we were trying to answer in this section of the exercise. And the invitation was to write as many as we could think of. Thinking about it like a brainstorm session. What are all the things that I can do to accomplish my outcome? Then we move down to our old self. Basically, when we were talking about the old self, what we were referring to was the behaviors of the old program, the version of us that it's in the past. And here we were trying to come up with things that are we did in the past. What were the ways that we screwed up in these areas of our lives? What were the times and the ways that we really messed it up in those areas of our lives that now we're trying to focus on? And referring to those things as in the past, right? Um, what specifically did I did where I dropped the ball, where I missed the mark? And it's important that we refer to our old self as in the past because as we're doing this exercise, we were doing it from the lenses of the new self. Then we move to the new self. And these are, again, the behaviors of the new program that we have in ourselves. And the question here is what is a specific replacement of solution for the old behavior? You know, we're trying to get rid of certain behaviors that we did in the past. But the only way we're going to succeed in getting rid of those behaviors is if we replace them with new behaviors. And those behaviors come from our new identity. So for me, this was a direct connection, right? I was looking at, okay, what are the new behaviors of my new true essence program? And as I was doing that, I was also going back to the box of the identity, the kind of person that I am. If I'm this kind of person, these are the types of behaviors that I will embrace. These will be the things that I would do if I was this kind of person. So everything kind of come together. As I said, it was like putting this puzzle together of all the different pieces. And it was a beautiful experience because we have been working in all these little pieces separately and seeing them all come together was really eye-opening, and it give me a so much higher level of clarity on where I've been, where I'm going, and the type of person that I need to be and I need to show up as if I want to accomplish the outcomes that I want in these areas of my life that I'm trying to focus on. So, that is a summary of week 6, last week of the reinvention phase. This week, because I'm recording a week late, we are in week 7 and we are coming into the transformation phase. So next week, I will be sharing with you all about this transformation phase. Now I am going into this new phase with a lot of curiosity because I had a certain expectation coming into reinvention, and my expectation what actually happened was different than what I was expecting. So now I don't have any expectations and I love it. I love going into this phase without having any expectations, but with lots of curiosity and a lot of eager to learn, to grow, and to transform. So I will share with you all of that next week, next Wednesday, on another episode of this Unleash Her Power Within Journey. Remember, if you want to learn more about the program, and no one is giving me anything for doing this, but this program, I'm loving it. It's been so transformational that I feel I need to spread the word. If you want to learn more, right now there is a wait list for the next generation, the next round of Unleash Her Power Within. You can find all the details on the show notes of this podcast episode. I hope you have an amazing day. I will see you here on Friday for the 6 a.m. club. I hope you have a great rest of your week. Take care.